Thunderbirds is quite possibly the greatest children's programme ever made, and today I get to talk about my most favourite episode of it. But before we go any further, I just want to point out that just because this is my favourite episode, it might not be yours. And I'm not calling it the greatest episode of Thunderbirds. Now that's out of the way, I can get cracking. This episode, however, has everything. It's got action, it's got drama, it's got fantastic machines, it's got the fleshed out characters, it's got all of the elements that make a great Thunderbirds episode in absolute spades full. I am of course talking about 30 Minutes After Noon. The episode centres around a plot to blow up Britain's largest nuclear storage facility and on the efforts of Britain's Secret Intelligence Service and International Rescue and the FBI to thwart said plot. The episode starts off innocently enough in a place called Spoke City, and it's focused on a government employee called Tom Prescott. He's driving at home late at night and he picks up a hitchhiker, claiming that there's something wrong with his wife and he needs to go and see his doctor who lives on the same street as him. When Tom Prescott drops the man off, the man says, "Hey, I've got something for you, just to say thanks, like, here you go." And before he can stop him, he slaps this bracelet on his wrist. And the hitchhiker explains to him that it's actually a bomb. It's set to go off in 30 minutes time. So you've got 30 minutes to drive to your office, go to the 38th floor or something. In a filing cabinet, there'll be the key to this wrist bomb. We then get a nice action scene of this car hurtling through the city streets of Spoke City, being pursued by the entire police force by the looks of it. Tom makes it to his office and he gets into the filing cabinet, and with seconds to spare, he finds the key, drops the wrist bomb into the filing cabinet and gets out. He starts making his way down in the lift when the bomb goes off and destroys the cables for the lift. The lift drops straight down into the basement and a fire ensues in the building above him. The fire spreads so rapidly and the office combusts so readily that in the end it sort of makes big news headlines, and International Rescue hear of this, and without call they send help. Young Tom Prescott is saved, but the police want words with him, because for all they know, he's led them on a merry dance through Spoke City, gone to his office and blown it up for no reason. Tom's straight with him from the outset. He says, "Look, I picked up this guy, he put this wrist bomb on me. He said he was going to blow me up and there was nothing else that I could do to get this bomb off of me. I had to go and do it, otherwise I was going to die." And the detective leading the investigation kind of believes him. He's like, this is just so outrageous. Like, what kind of like alibi is this? And it also happens that the building in question was an FBI building that contained the records on what we learn is the Erdman gang, a vicious gang of international crooks, and it contained all the files on them in that one building. So just as the detective is coming to this sort of conclusion and realisation, in walks one of his deputies and hands him what remains of this wrist bomb, exonerating young Tom Prescott. We then jump back to Tracy Island and they're reading the newspaper, and to their consternation it says in the newspaper that they've failed in their mission and young Tom Prescott is dead. But Jeff Tracy, level-headed as always, counsels the boys and says, "Look, the FBI got something going on here. So there's something going on beneath the surface, behind the scenes, that we're not privy to. So let's let sleeping dogs lie for now." We now cut away to a scene that is straight out of a James Bond film. No faces are shown. You see some bowler hats being chucked up onto a hat stand a la Sean Connery James Bond style, and a trilby hat, which is very much Sean Connery's James Bond, gets lobbed up there as well. And these three gentlemen are having this conversation, talking about getting a man undercover and infiltrating this gang. So they bring their best agent in, a man known only as Southern, and he is brilliantly played by Ray Barrett. He's absolutely great. He is like a combination of James Bond with that kind of Harry Palmer-esque level of arrogance about him. He's really a cool guy. He's a good agent. We then get a bit of a callback in Thunderbirds, which doesn't really happen that often. We see it with Fireflash once or twice, but they go to Thompson Tower now. Southern is at Thompson Tower. Again, no faces shown, just those iconic Thunderbirds real-life hand shots they used to do, where, what do we see? One of these bracelets being slapped on. The action now moves on to Glencarrick Castle, which is actually the same set they used in Stingray, and then later on in an episode of Captain Scarlet for a traditional Scottish Highland ruined castle. And we're introduced to the two other villains that are going to do the job with Southern. We've got Dempsey and we've got Kenyon, and they've been waiting now for 3 days for some information on the job they're going to do. So they're a little bit impatient. Here we're introduced to the character known simply as the leader, and he starts dishing out the assignments and all the information for the job they're going to pull off. And believe you me, if this was a normal robbery, this would be the caper of the century. They're told at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, you've got to be at this location, and this location just happens to be the storage location for all of Britain's nuclear fuel. The leader starts telling them over the radio what they've got to do, gives them information on how to defeat the security arrangements there, how to neutralise the robotic guards, that sort of thing. And Southern, being the undercover agent, starts pushing for a little bit more information, but he is cut short by the other two villains there. It's at this point, finally now, the leader breaks the news to them that they've got bombs attached to their wrists. We now cut to the next morning and they've driven to the nuclear storage facility. The 3 characters easily defeat the security around the place. They shoot through a lock, they use a ray gun on 2 of the robotic guards in the facility. And this is important because there's a 3rd robot there. It's at this point though that Southern now decides he's going to make his play. So he holds the other 2 robbers at gunpoint and he says, hey, you bring the leader back to me and I'll give you the key to these wrist bombs. And the other 2 just can't believe it. They think he's just after another bigger cut of the money or something. And they catch him. He gets caught monologuing like an idiot. He's standing there monologuing to them, and one of the robots they haven't disabled gets up behind him and puts him in like a chokehold kind of thing. He can't get away. So the other 2, they take the wrist bomb off of him, they take their own wrist bombs off, and they leave him there to die. And they can get a bigger cut, can't they then? They can get a 3rd extra spread between the 2 of them. So Dempsey and Kenyon, they make a quick getaway. They don't want nothing to do with this nuclear explosion that's about to happen, and they want their money, so they shoot off pretty quick. But in very James Bond-esque fashion, Southern's been given a bit of a gadget. He's got a radio hidden in his pen, and he uses it to get in touch with his bosses. He gets on the radio to them and he's like, look, it's all gone a bit pear-shaped over here. Thousands of people are going to die if you don't do something about this. You've got to start evacuating the area. And they're like, hey, Southern, we've got to get you out. You're our guy kind of thing. And he's like, no, leave me. Like, I'm cool. This is what I signed up for. Very heroic. Actually, I think he's more heroic here than James Bond would be, because oftentimes James Bond can be a bit of an accidental hero in these kinds of situations. Like, don't get me wrong, James Bond has got this sort of superhuman courage about him. But Southern displays it a little bit more here. So MI6 get on the radio to International Rescue. They let them know the situation, what's been happening, how it ties in with the bombing in the first part of the episode. Jeff don't hesitate. He sends Scott and Virgil out there to save the guy and brings up Lady Penelope. So Scott and Virgil cut their way in. Scott gets hold of the bombs, takes them on Thunderbird 1, and literally with like under seconds to spare sort of thing, drops them into the middle of the North Sea and they explode harmlessly unless you're like a fish or something. In the meantime, however, though, Lady Penelope and Parker are on the case, aren't they? They just about make it to the rendezvous point in time, and they manage to blow up the helijet with the leader and the other 2 villains on board. The episode ends with Southern, having recovered from his injuries, having a nice meal with Lady Penelope in their mansion house, and he's explained to Lady Penelope that now he's got to give up espionage because his cover's been blown, he's too famous, people know him now. Pretty standard fare for a Thunderbirds episode, isn't it? What makes this episode just so special to me is that rather than being just your average Thunderbirds episode or episode of any Jerry Anderson stuff, I think it marks the first time that he does a spy thriller. And it is true, that episode really does play out as a spy thriller. It's very, very much like the Ipcress File at points, like certain camera angles they use throughout. But it was supposed to be that from the outset. It was written as a spy thriller, and the director didn't actually want to do the episode. He was just reluctant about it and stuff. And then the weekend before he starts shooting, he goes and sees the Ipcress File, and he's just blown away by that. And he's like, yes, I want to make this episode now. It used all these sort of quirky camera angles that you got in the Ipcress File, and you get a really beautiful tracking shot in Glencarrick Castle, moving over the sort of ruins and across the hallway, where you get to see the two sort of other protagonists, and you get this really just perfect false perspective shot going on there, where you get these real actors' hands in the foreground, and in the distance you get the two marionette puppets. And that's not a composite shot. They did that using false perspective. That's just an amazing achievement. And it ain't just the camera angles as well, and all of the other bits that make it a spy film. It's the music as well. That music being played at the beginning of it in the car, that sort of smoky, late night, smooth jazz music. I mean, you could really imagine Harry Palmer listening to that. And another link, another clue as well to the James Bond-esque elements to it, is the caretaker. If you look at the caretaker at the beginning of the episode, hanging out of his window having a cigarette, his name's Sam Saltzman. He's named after Harry Saltzman, who used to produce the James Bond films and the Harry Palmer films. It's the first time in Thunderbirds that they do this, though. They do this really, really great when they do these espionage ones. These spy thriller episodes are, to me, the best ones. You've got 30 Minutes Afternoon, you've got, to a certain degree, the Duchess Assignment, you've got The Man from MI5, and you've got the Cham Cham. And I suppose the film Thunderbirds 6 as well counts. But I just really think 30 Minutes Afternoon does it best. I think it's definitely the best paced out of them all. It seems to be one of those earlier on episodes that was written. Like, you know, when you got the first couple of episodes of Thunderbirds where it was written to be 25 minutes long and then they extended it to 50 minutes. So you get these kind of like half rescue attempts halfway through the episode and stuff. I think that's why you've got the kind of two separate story arcs within the episode. You've got the beginning of the episode where they rescue him from the burning building, and then you've got the second half of the episode where it is like balls deep spy business. The character of Southern as well in the episode, the spy, he's really good. He takes the best of James Bond, the best of Harry Palmer, and he just mixes them up nicely. Like I said, he's got that kind of attitude problem with authority kind of thing, what Harry Palmer done well, Michael Caine brought to the screen absolutely perfectly. And the Sean Connery-esque James Bond, no fear. Like literally, it's like he's got this ability to switch his fear off, just like Sean Connery's James Bond. I can hear you all now, by the way, in the comment section, banging away on your keyboards. It's also great in the way that it kind of like eschews these traditional spy genre tropes. Look at the way Southern gets caught monologuing. Normally it's the villain that gets caught monologuing, innit? And schoolboy era that was, weren't it? Also in the way that in the end of it, like he's trying to crack on Lady Penelope and she's having none of it. No, she's far too sophisticated for him. She's a real spy, she is. But as well, as I've said before, with Thunderbirds and all Jerry Anderson stuff, I respect the way that he would bring these really mature themes to a younger audience and package them in a way that's really accessible and not too frightening, but utterly engaging. He wouldn't patronise the children at all. And he does that really well in this episode. These really mature themes here. And I do respect that. I do respect the way that the writer did that as well for all the children watching it. But as I say, this episode of Thunderbirds is just my personal favourite. Whatever your personal favourite is yours and yours. But this is my favourite episode of Thunderbirds, and that is why I love it, because it is underplayed in all the right moments. It is paced perfectly, the music's fantastic, the special effects as always are just gorgeous. Everything from the set design to the explosions and stuff are just perfect. So if you've made it this far, please don't kill me in the comments. I know there are other better episodes of Thunderbirds, but as I say, this is just my personal favourite. Please give me a like and give me a subscribe, because it really helps the channel grow, and I want this channel to grow because this is a subject that is really close to my heart and I do enjoy making these videos actually.